Hello, hello, beautiful people. Happy Monday morning. Happy awesome here. Feeling 98% awesome this morning. I'm a little mad at myself, but I will get over it. It is going to be a fabulous Monday. It's going to be a fabulous week. I went to that spiritual intelligence conference all weekend, and a couple takeaways that I had from it, I will share. The man teaching he has some definite religion, or, his belief system is in God, but he calls it religion respectful or something to that effect. So he's not sharing with us that we have to call God God. He calls it love source for those of us who may refer to it as something else. I may adapt love source because the way he explained how the universe fits in, maybe my universe isn't the right higher power, but it doesn't really matter. It's all semantics really when it comes to the name. But I know the principles of like law of attraction and healing and how to use it to get what I want. I was using it before I even knew how to use it. And I'm a believer in it. Although lately, if I'm being 100% honest with myself, I have let some fear sneak in about my beliefs, and I think it was screwing me up. And the same thing with being upset about that situation last week and hanging on to some of the mad. And I feel like the mad is gone. I think that I'm going to give myself another day or two to work through the forgiveness. And he gave us exercises on how to do forgiveness. And what I loved about what he was teaching and how it impacted me was I feel like I'm really in a good spot. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, not even comparing myself to anybody else, but when he talks about having a list of, and the gentleman's name is James McNeil, and I wish I had more time because I would sign up to be a coach for him because I really believe in his messaging. But he challenged us. I'm doing the 30-day miracle challenge, and part of the homework, I'm on day 2. Yeah, you're going to hear about this for the next 30 days. We'll see what miracles come up, but it was about writing a list of people we have to forgive, up to and including ourselves. And what I felt very grateful for this morning was it's not that big of a list. I've done a lot of that work as it went along. Now, not in this formal strategy that he shared with us, where essentially, we burn a piece of paper with our feelings on it and all that stuff. But I've done the work on forgiving. And when I think about some of the heavy hitters that I'd have to forgive, it's already done. I have forgiven them. I am grateful for all those people. So I just need to finish processing this one last little situation. I'm going to be open to if there's other people I have to forgive or acknowledge or do the work on. I don't know that I'm going to find a huge list, and that I'm glad for. And he reiterated the whole, if you drink poison or not forgiving someone or having those feelings is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I've always loved that saying. I think I first learned it in treatment. It really helps me wrap my head around resentment and anger and all those things when it comes to other people. And I just need to clean my soul up of that stuff. Like, I don't need to hang on to it. I need to like open my heart and my mind up to just moving forward. Like, that's where I need to be. So why would I be drinking that poison? I let it be toxic in my life for about a week, and now it's over, and now I got to move forward, and now life is just good. And the other part I want to share with you, and I'm going to teach my team this, and I'm going to probably say this to you guys a lot, and you're welcome to, I don't know if steal it is the right word, but use it. it's one of the mantras that he gave us in the challenge, and he gave us over the seminar over the weekend. And I love this. And this was my big aha moment this year, right? Like that everything that's ever happened to me happened for a reason to put me exactly where I am right now, which is exactly where I'm supposed to be. Like I totally can believe that, connect to that, see that. The way this whole year is unfolded, the way people have entered and exited my life, all of those things. I could just clearly connect the dots for probably 99% of it all in my head. Maybe not everything has a reason yet that's at least exposed to me, but everything has a reason. So his mantra is, everything is perfect, everything is improving. And that's so, so true. And it's very refreshing to have that as a philosophy, because it frees us from the hanging on to anger, fear, frustration, all that stuff. If we believe that it's supposed to happen for a reason. Now, I believe the crap that happened last week, someone showing their really true colors, someone hurting me deliberately, I feel like. I believe that all happened for a reason. And I feel it. Like I felt that energy last night when I was talking to my partner about, the way we're going to proceed with some stuff. And it's a different energy now that I've released that. Like now that person did the bad things, now that I'm healing from it, it's like, okay, doors are opening. Like, let's get to the other side of this. Let's open some doors. Let's do some great things. And that's what we're doing. Everything's perfect and everything's improving, including ourselves and our business. So that is what I wanted to share about that. I will continue to update you as I go through this challenge and share as much as I can that's applicable, that makes sense to our lives and our lessons. I mean, that's honestly what I share a lot of with you, is what I learn from other people. And I work very hard at learning from other people, and also whatever the lessons are, even if they're not directly related to addiction or dealing with addiction or mental illness or any of the things. A lot of things transfer into that arena if we allow them to be lessons. So that is my recap of the weekend. Let's see what our reading says today. Jose Arguelles says, when a man is deprived of the power of expression, he will express himself in a drive for power. Wow. If we are to grow in recovery, if we're to break out of our isolation, if we are one day going to learn to give back some of what we have received, we must find out what our gifts are. That means making art, whether by painting or welding or parenting. Many of us used to think art was a luxury. Art was for a highbrow elite and had nothing to do with us or how we lived. But we also used to think that way about prayer or about God. And now we find both at the center of our days. Art is not about making a product to buy or sell. And it is not about success or failure. Whatever we make is a mirror. It's feedback. Art is about connecting with nature and God, joining them in their continual act of creation. Art has the power to center us, to stop us in our tracks and make us see. We found isolation from other people to be a death, an act of isolation. We've found isolation from other people to be a death, an act of isolation. So too is this refusal to express ourselves. Through art, we can find out what our gifts are and learn to give them with joy. Today, help me to take one step forward toward finding out what my gifts are. Do you guys know what your gifts are? I'm learning. I did not know for a very long time what my gifts were, what my art was. And yes, I absolutely had that mentality that art is for like the wealthy people to hang on their walls. And I can remember being in situations where I look at art and expected it to be like, well, what is this? What does this mean? And I really struggled with this with music. Oh my gosh, for such a long time. I I don't know why, but men seem to like to use music to communicate. And by that I mean instead of talking, they might send you a song, right? Or at least this has been my experience. Instead of talking to me, they'll send me a song and then I'm supposed to interpret the song to what they're feeling. My experience with this is it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. My brain doesn't think like other people's brains. So why would it work? And I don't know what they're feeling unless they tell me what they're feeling. The artist writing the song is about what they're feeling. So there's a lot open to interpretation. And instead of me trying to take it apart like a puzzle, I got to the point where it was like, excuse me, what do you mean by this? What are you trying to say? I'm not going to try to guess your feelings because what does that do? That just creates miscommunication and assumptions and speculation and all kinds of stuff that just is not good, not healthy, doesn't feel well. So back to you. So what are your gifts? What do you consider your art? Things that are jumping out in my head for me is a Zumba instructor. A Zumba instructor has art of dance and how they express themselves and how they do their choreo. They get to showcase. It might be to stress relieve. It might be to help other people. I believe I'm starting to find my gifts. I think that my art has to do with my transparency, my newfound vulnerability, communicating, being passionate about my message, being passionate about who I am and the gifts I do possess. Like I can look at numbers and see things or on like profitability or trends or results. Like that's one of the things that's my art. I really enjoy that, and I can interpret numbers into the real world. That's one of my gifts. And that was one of my frustrations was at my day job, right? I could see what was happening, but I hated the minutia of documenting it or trying to explain it to other people who couldn't see it. I didn't have a real big patience for that. So that was more of a shortcoming. Another art I have or gift, and this comes from my friend Linda, who I miss terribly, and I should probably text. She told me that I collect people. That's a gift of mine, collecting people. And I've never meant to do it. I am outgoing. I talk to people. I'm kind to people. And then I continue to nurture relationships. It's just that simple. And I will say I love Facebook for that reason. Like I can check in on people at different times and places. I was stranded in Green Bay a couple years ago, and there was this blizzard. And I was trapped in a hotel for a few days with these people, all kinds of different people. But two of them in particular was this couple, and it was the lady's birthday. And this poor thing was spending her birthday trapped in a hotel with all of us. And they're just amazing. And they went out and they bought like pizza for every single person in the hotel. They just went out and bought a shit ton of pizza, put it in the lobby, made sure everybody was fed because this place didn't have like a full restaurant. They had some munchies, but it was nothing really to speak of. And they just had this giving heart. And now through Facebook, even though I won't be going to Wisconsin anymore regularly, I am still connected with them through Facebook, and we still communicate. And that was, almost 3 years ago now, and we're still in contact. I love that we have all the resources to do that. So those are some of my gifts. I never thought of them before about them being feedback, but I guess as I process that and give you the example about Trisha, I guess if I'm if my art is collecting people and being nice to people, then people are going to collect me and be nice to me back. Wow, how simple is that? I guess I have to be open to seeing that. I think that this exercise of trying to understand what our art is and just being open to it and receiving it can also be pretty therapeutic, right? Not to put pressure on yourself, but helping with your self-awareness and maybe even your self-confidence. Maybe you have gifts you haven't even thought about yet. I find it very interesting that they put parenting, painting, and welding in the same sentence. So it shows that there's this spectrum of what art is. Art is whatever we want to make it be. It could be art of dealing with people. And like I have a counselor that is just so soft, and her art is getting me to think about things differently. This man who I'm taking the challenge with, his art is turning basic spiritual principles into easily digestible pieces. Yep, there's the sirens. Happy Schenectady Monday morning. Sorry, we haven't had a good loud siren in a whole minute or so, right? Anyway, different people have different art forms, and I think for you today, I will challenge you to start thinking about how do you show up in the world? What is your art? What are your gifts? Everybody has them. We just might not be thinking about them consciously all the time. So take notice as you go through your day. What is your art? What do you do? How do you show up? And is there art in your life that you could put more emphasis in that keeps you away from a bet or helps improve your relationships, including the one with yourself? I think this is a pretty interesting thing, and I'm going to pay attention to it today and see if I have any other gifts or art that I haven't acknowledged to you now while I'm thinking about it. All right, beautiful people, that's what I got. Remember the mantra, everything is perfect, everything is improving. I just freaking love that. It feels so good to just say it. So I hope that you'll join me in that thinking. And maybe you believe it today, maybe you don't, but I'm going to keep using it, and I'm going to teach my team it, and I just believe it. There's so much good stuff coming, and I'm so grateful for it. I don't even know all the answers, and I just know that they're going to be good answers because I believe in that. And I can see it from the things that have already happened in my life, and I'll take that. So let's see how our gifts fall into line with that. What are our gifts? Was there something in the past that didn't feel so perfect that actually was perfect that gave us these gifts? There's a lot to work with here. So let's just start with being aware and being grateful. I'm grateful for you guys. I hope that you have a fabulous start to the week, and I will talk to you tomorrow.